Well, welcome. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I am so glad you chose to come and join us today. We appreciate that your time is very valuable and you've got lots of options. So, always appreciate when you choose to spend your time here. And I make sure we bring the best possible guests so you can have some really interesting discussions that are going to broaden your perspective. And today's no exception. Today, we're going to be meeting with Dr. Marcia Harris and talking about negotiating power for midlife women. And if you don't happen to be a midlife woman, I invite you to stay on because this is information we all need to know and that you can pass on, or it'll inform you and how you show up maybe in your interactions with the midlife women in your life. So welcome, Marcia. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for jumping on. I understand you just came out of some emergency surgery, so we
Oh,
appreciate you coming on here and jumping right into the fray. And for those of you who may not know her, Marcia is someone who, I would say boldly challenges medical norms, right? Empowers women to take back control of their health, their vitality, their voice. She's a Columbia trained physician and Cornell surgeon who made a pretty radical pivot, some would say, from that traditional medicine mode to hormone restoration, as really, I think it's fair to say, a pioneer in that. And as the founder of the Wellness Restoration Center, Dr. Harris developed this groundbreaking total transformation reset program. We're going to hear a little bit of tease of that. And that's a bioidentical and personalized approach to hormone therapy. And I'll tell you, where were you a few years ago? I could have used that, let me tell you. And also about sexual vitality and wellness in midlife. And her work is really revolutionizing, I think, how women experience menopause, leadership, and power. So let's dive right in. What inspired your transition, to go from that Ivy League sort of surgeon in traditional medicine to hormone restoration as a trailblazer for midlife women?
well, I didn't have a choice, Cindy. It was done because I had to find it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
I found it. I literally had to find it for me because, I even starting before that, I was the first Black woman
Yeah.
to train in OBGYN
Wow.
at the New York Hospital, Weill Cornell Medical Center.
Yeah.
When I showed up there in the early 70s, early 1970s,
Yeah.
yes, I've been out of medical school more than 50 years. Okay.
Congrats. Congrats.
I They didn't know what to do with me.
Yeah.
They truly did. Even worse than that, or better than that, I should say, in those days, OBGYN itself
Yeah.
was an old boys club.
Oh, yeah.
There weren't any women. I was the
Absolutely.
first Black woman, but I was only the eighth woman,
That's
period.
remarkable. Yeah.
And New York Hospital is the second oldest hospital in the country.
Yeah.
So go figure.
Yeah.
So going all the way back there, I talk about pioneer. I proudly do wear that cape.
I love it. Yeah. Well deserved.
Proudly do wear that cape. There are guys on staff when I was a resident, when I was training, who would not scrub with me.
Yeah. That's
When
incredible.
I was the junior, they would scream and holler, I need a senior.
Wow.
And when I was the senior, oh, I don't need good help. I'll take the
I'll take
intern
it, Junior.
Chloe, just so as not to scrub with me. But guess what?
Yeah.
I was the administrative chief resident.
Yeah.
So that last year, whether they liked it or not, they had to deal with me
Yeah. And it's
because
that things haven't changed in some, I mean, I shouldn't say things have changed, but not far enough. And I feel like, but we started late and made up for lost time. My kids are, 28, 27 and turning 26 this week. And it was the same, all males, no understanding, certainly no appreciation, not a lot of sympathy showing up in that room. So now you've said that modern medicine, and let's talk about that, that it's failing women in menopause in particular. So can you unpack that a little bit for us? And
it definitely is. We as women live longer than men.
yeah.
The reason we do is because of our hormones.
Hmm. I
Our
don't know that.
hormones are protective.
Huh.
There are hormone receptors on every single cell in the body.
Yeah.
So there are 300 or more functions in the body which are dependent on hormones,
Yeah.
not just the sex hormones,
Yeah.
thyroid, insulin, cortisol,
Wow.
all the hormones.
Yeah.
They all, by the way, come from the same place. They all start out as cholesterol. That's the basis
Yeah.
of all hormones. And then they come down the line and then they branch off when they get to the bottom and become what they become: progesterone,
Yeah.
estrogen, pregnenolone, etc.
Right.
How can something which we have not only had, but which has been so important in our lives for the first 50 years, let's pick a
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
The average age of menopause is
Yeah.
51 and a half. How can something which for the first 50 years of our lives be so important that you tell me when it starts declining or when it goes away, it just suddenly becomes no longer important?
Yeah.
That obviously makes no
No
sense.
sense. Well, I've
Obviously.
already learned tons. I don't know about you for our listeners there, but I did not know any of that, which I'm embarrassed, frankly, how little we know about our own bodies. And it's funny, as you were talking about the different hormones, I've often been accused of having too much testosterone by people in my life, not by the medical profession. I suspect that's more a function of being someone who self-advocates. Everybody assumes there must be more testosterone. Now, why is it, do you think, that so many women feel dismissed or misdiagnosed when they present
Be-
those symptoms relating?
before we even answer that question, let's go back to the testosterone.
Yeah,
We do have
of course.
more testosterone.
Ah,
Testosterone, even in women, is the most abundant hormone in our bodies.
I did not know that.
Period.
Yeah. Okay.
Men have 10 times more than we do.
Yeah.
But even though estrogen and progesterone are the predominant and the uniquely female hormones, we have 10 times more testosterone than we have estrogen or progesterone.
Wow.
10 times more. And it's responsible for the same things in us, in
Yeah.
women, that it's responsible for
Okay.
in men. The
Yeah.
energy, the muscle toning,
Yeah.
the libido, it's the vitality.
Yeah.
It is responsible for exactly the same thing. I'd say 7 out of 10 physicians don't even know that.
Yeah. That's sad. Scary.
7 out of 10 physicians don't even know that.
And I
But
guess that
we,
kind of answers the question too about why women are so often misdiagnosed if the physicians treating them aren't even aware of the fundamental tenets of how our
that is correct. And you said the right words. Hormones are foundational.
yeah.
They are totally and completely fundamental.
Yeah.
They are foundational. You know, when I started doing this in the 70s, we used to put everybody on hormones,
Yeah.
everybody. But we didn't have any studies to prove what we actually thought.
Yeah.
We thought we knew that it protected our heart
Mm.
and protected our brain and protected and built our bones and
Yeah.
reacted with our skin and all of the above. But there were no studies to prove it.
Hmm.
So in the late 1990s, I don't remember her name, the woman in charge of the CDC at that time, and she was the first woman.
Yeah.
She decided that we needed information. She
Yeah.
decided that there should be a study.
Yeah.
So, well-intentioned, very well-intentioned, she went out there and they designed this study, the Women's Health Initiative study. I'm sure you've heard of it,
Yeah.
because that has been the disaster that has made what's happened for the next 25 years
Yeah.
happen.
And why is that? What went wrong?
What went wrong? It was completely flawed in the way it was set up,
Okay.
because multiple ways. Number one, you're doing a study to prove that hormones are good for women
Yeah.
in menopause, and you exclude
Um,
women in the first 15 years of menopause.
yeah.
First 15.
Yeah.
Menopause, forget that. Make it 25,
Yeah.
because perimenopause is just as important.
Yeah.
And perimenopause can start as early as 40 years old.
Yeah. That was me.
As early as 40 years old. Average age of menopause, as I said, is 51.
Yeah.
The average age of women in the Women's Health Initiative study was 65.
Wow. Wow.
Because what they did was any woman who was symptomatic was immediately not eligible for the study.
Okay.
So all of perimenopause and all the recently menopausal women weren't counted.
So they lost 2 decades worth of a sample group.
2 decades.
Gosh,
All right.
yeah.
And then in addition to that, they were using horse's urine. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a horse.
Yeah.
They still are using Premarin. I mean, they didn't even try to hide it.
Yeah.
Pregnant mare's urine. Premarin.
For what? Using the horse's urine for what? Like, how did that play?
That's where they got the estrogen.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Okay, I did not know. This is like talk about a
Thousands and
here,
thousands of women popped horse's urine pills.
Wow.
Decades. Okay. Thousands and thousands of women.
So as a result of that study, like, let me ask them, what do you think are some of the most common myths or misconceptions around menopause? It sounds like many of which probably came from this study, however well-intentioned, that we maybe need to renegotiate in our own mind and in the healthcare system.
Well, that's what makes it even more sad, because everything, all the myths and misconceptions, the fact that what they said at the time, that estrogen actually caused cancer and caused blood clots and caused, well, it does cause blood clots. I'll come back to that. But estrogen caused cancer and caused dementia and, all of the above. What happened is everything was debunked.
Okay.
Everything was totally and completely disproven.
Yeah.
But guess what? Whereas when the study was put out there, it was front page, headline, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and all of the above. 2 years later, because when they went over the data, they were like, that's not true. Yes, breast cancer went up, but it went up from 4 in 1,000 to 5 in 1,000.
Okay. Wow.
You don't have to be a statistician to know that that is not statistically significant.
Yes.
Wow. So they debunked everything within a couple of years. But of course, when that was reported on, it was 2 columns on page 50
exactly.
of all the papers. So there, and in addition to that, the medical schools and the residencies stopped teaching about menopause. Wow. Everybody stopped their hormones and they just stopped teaching about menopause.
Because we're only 50% of the population, all of whom go through menopause. Like, good grief.
Well, we're second-class citizens. Yeah. Hello.
Well, in the medical world in particular. Now, you advocate for personalized bioidentical hormone optimization. So can you break that down, what that means, and how does that differ from the kind of mainstream treatments that women are still getting told they need?
Very good question. And it's a very important one because it is totally and completely different in that what we use with bioidentical hormones is extracted from plants. It's Mexican wild yam, edamame, and soy, and potatoes, and what have you. Yeah. And the diosgenin, which is the compound that is actually extracted and is then made into the hormones, is the exact molecule, mirror image, exact molecule. The key fits the lock. Wow. Of what our bodies make.
Okay.
As opposed to the horse's urine,
I was going to say,
which was close.
Yeah.
Close, but not the same.
Okay. Interesting. Wow. Now,
that's the difference. And our bodies actually recognize it
Yeah.
because it's the
It's
same.
the same, of course. I mean, it sounds so simple, and yet, this isn't the first issue where women's needs get put behind when the information is available, but not being disseminated. And one of the things, Marcia, that really attracted me to some of the work that you're doing is that your work highlights how hormonal balance is deeply tied to leadership, influence, even sexuality. And I mean, women have been put on the back burner for so long in those positions. So, can you explain that connection for our listeners here today?
Well, we are taught, we are told from the time we were little that we are supposed to be subservient and we are supposed to not take the lead, and the man is the leader, and we're supposed to know our place,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Play small.
which we're supposed to play small,
Yeah.
which as a leader, as a woman, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now, our hormones, if and when they are replaced, matter of fact, let me back up. Midlife, we come along and we do what we do. You're a lawyer, I'm a doctor, but it doesn't have to be. You could be cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You do it well.
Yeah.
And you own it.
Yeah. I like that.
You own it.
Yeah.
However, what they want you to do is the opposite.
Yeah.
We have to understand and realize that we have to own it.
Yeah.
We have to look out for ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to take whatever to the next level. For example, we have to advocate for ourselves. What's happening now? What's actually happening now? And I had a patient in here just last week. The doctors are still telling patients, you don't need hormones.
Yeah.
So women are suffering, some starting as early as 40 and 41 and 42 years old. Women are suffering and are being told, you just have to live with it.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. That me, my entire circle of friends, same story.
But that's not true. That is not true.
Yeah.
And until we educate not just the women, but the practitioners, because the practitioners are still telling this to patients 25 years after the Women's Health Initiative study was completely debunked.
And for our listeners, I want to take a moment. So if you remember at the beginning, I said, even if you're not a midlife woman, keep tuned in. So if you know any practitioners out there, share this episode with them, share this information with them, start advocating to get the message out. Now, I want to circle back, Marcia, to that, like I'd sort of thrown in the loop about hormonal balance, leadership, influence, and sexuality. And much like being told to play small, we've been told, oh, women aren't supposed to be sexual or talk about being. So how does sexual vitality intersect with feminine power in your view? And why do you think it is such a taboo or overlooked topic?
It is taboo because of the way we were socialized. And I tell you, I wish that I knew 30 years ago what I know now.
Yeah.
And I wish I was 30 years ago, the woman, the person, the advocate that I am now.
Yeah.
I truly, truly, truly wish that I was.
Yeah.
Women are being dismissed. Women are still being dismissed. I had a patient who came in suffering. She started about at 42, started having severe symptoms. And let me tell you, 15 or 20% of people have severe symptoms.
Yeah.
10, 15% have no symptoms at all. And then you have like the 70% gray, in the gray middle.
Yeah.
And she started having these severe symptoms as early as 41, 42 years old. She went to 5 different gynecologists.
That's
5.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
She waited. The 5th person was the head of the menopause clinic at one of the premier New York institutions.
Yeah.
I won't say which one.
Okay. Yeah, no
But
lawsuits here.
no. She went to the head of the
Yeah.
menopause clinic at one of the premier institutions
Yeah.
and was dismissed. Now, it boggled my mind.
Yeah.
It was like mind blown. You
Yeah.
have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You figure if the other four gynecologists who had not been taught were still going by the Women's Health Initiative study, you figure the head of a menopause clinic would
Yeah.
know better,
Yeah. That's
wouldn't
outrageous.
you?
Yeah. Yep.
She was told, first of all, she didn't test her. She didn't examine her. She did nothing. She listened to her and said, you're 43, gonna be 44. You're too young.
Wow.
You're too young.
Yeah.
So, here, she gave her a prescription for Prozac, a prescription for gabapentin, a prescription for Veoza. In other words, she addressed her major
Yeah.
symptoms
But not
with
the root cause.
medication and said, come back in a year.
Yeah.
Now, I said to the woman when she came in, ma'am, let me just assure you, it's your hormones.
Yeah.
You do not have a gabapentin deficiency.
Yeah.
You do not have a Prozac
Yeah.
deficiency. You do not have a Veoza deficiency. You have a hormone deficiency.
Yeah.
Within a couple of months, when she came back fully balanced, feeling zen and like herself again, she was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is amazing. I feel so good. I mean,
Yeah.
thank you. And I hear that every single day of the week. I have husbands who have called and thanked me for
I
giving
bet.
them their wives back.
I bet. Because some of those symptoms could be, like rage, uncontrolled kind of rage from hormonal. Now, let's talk a bit about that negotiation piece then. What does it mean to negotiate, A, with our bodies as women, but also negotiate for our bodies?
Absolutely. Because we have to take the rein. We have to be the driver. We have to be in charge of our health, of our lives,
Yes.
of what happens to us. And I also tell patients all the time that if you find somebody who dismisses you, somebody who doesn't listen, somebody who refuses to at least negotiate with you, find a different provider.
Yeah.
That we are few and far between, but
Yeah.
we are out there.
Yeah.
And especially now with the whole Tamsin Fadal and Oprah Winfrey and Reese Witherspoon and Halle Berry. I mean, there is now something even in front of Congress. So hopefully that'll get passed.
Yeah.
And they will actually start to take us seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard horror stories about people who I know who are incredibly reputable, do great work, working in hormones, who keep getting shut down and facing all of these barriers that the traditional medical system does not, and we kept getting diverted. Now let's give a moment to sort of plug sort of your system, since we're sort of talking about that. Now, I love the term total transformation. It's very powerful, inspirational. So what are some of the key components to your total transformation reset protocols?
The thing is, you have to understand and realize that nothing exists in a vacuum. We are whole beings.
Yeah.
So everything is related to and dependent on everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't just fix your hormones. I actually start with lifestyle.
Mm.
You have got to eat right. You have got to exercise. You have got to breathe.
Yeah.
Even the way you breathe, how we breathe, integrally plays into this.
Yeah.
The amount of rest you get, the air you breathe, the amount of rest, the nutrition, the water you drink, everything plays into it. When someone comes in, I evaluate the whole person. I do an executive physical and an executive workup. I look for mold, Lyme, autoimmune diseases, thyroid problems, because whereas 9 out of 10, I know it's going to turn out just to be their sex hormones.
Yeah.
1 out of 10, it could be something else,
Yeah.
or something else, if not entirely, could be playing into it.
Yeah.
So I evaluate the whole person and then go from there. The program is set up to not just rebalance your hormones, but to also make sure that what you're doing lifestyle-wise
Yeah.
ties into it. And it makes such a big difference.
Well, it makes sense, right? I mean, they support each other. Doing one, and as you were saying that, I was doing a mental clock myself, going, oh dear, like in terms of diet and exercise and sleep and our breathing, we're not intentional enough about it. And the medical profession doesn't speak to it almost ever. And all of those support your hormones and vice versa.
And you can't, you can't really blame the doctors, because allopathically trained physicians are only trained to write prescriptions.
Yes, which is, yeah, big pet peeve of mine. Now, for our listeners out there who are navigating midlife and feeling disconnected or burnt out right now, is there even just one small practical but powerful shift that they could take today to start reclaiming their vitality, or is that
Oh, absolutely.
okay?
There were two things that I get everybody to do. That just as the hormones are foundational, there are two things that go along with the hormones. One, vitamin D is the basis of our immune system.
Okay.
85% of the people who died from COVID were vitamin D deficient.
Wow.
85% statistically. Google it.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's number one. The
Yeah.
second thing is, because of our exposure, we are all inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to get rid of the vitamin D deficiency and the inflammation that we deal with on a regular daily basis, 50% of what we have to address would disappear.
Wow.
50%. So everybody who comes in, if you leave with nothing, you leave knowing that we have got to cut the inflammation and increase the vitamin D.
And how do we cut the inflammation? What are some things we can do?
Decrease your exposure. And we're talking about supplements, because here again, the food that we eat, even half of the food, most of the food we eat, everything is so processed.
Yeah, that's true.
And with so much crap in it that we do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
All the chips and the ice cream and the everything else.
Yeah.
So we have to decrease the inflammation. Okay. And we do that first by changing our diet, changing our exposure. For example, we're exposed to all the plastics and the phytoestrogens. And I mean, we're totally and completely inflamed. I don't know if you've heard lately that they just came up, they were doing autopsies and came up with microplastics in the brain.
Wow.
At autopsy.
Terrifying.
Totally and completely terrifying.
Yeah. My gosh. Okay, well, there for our listeners, there's a couple of simple, practical first steps that you can take. And I hope you're taking down notes or re-listen to this episode as well. Think about your sleep, your diet, your breathing. These are all simple things that you can be doing. Go check with someone like Dr. Marcia Harris, who's a hormone expert as well. Find out where your hormone levels are, but also get that vitamin D up. And I'm glad you said, I just recently started increasing my vitamin D because for my bone density, they had me on calcium. And luckily somebody happened to mention to me, you better double up on your vitamin D to help absorb the calcium. So I've got one thing.
That's absolutely correct. A lot of people are out there taking calcium, which if you don't have the D, you're wasting your time.
You're wasting your money and your
time. Just as if you take the D and you don't take vitamin K2, you're still wasting your time.
Oh, damn, Marcia. I'm not taking
K2. Okay? D allows the calcium to get into the cell. K2 allows the D to get absorbed. It's like you stack the dominoes and flick them. Dung, 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 dung.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It
So what we need is to go speak to somebody like Dr. Marcia Harris, who knows our hormones, knows how the various vitamins interact, so that we can be maximizing our opportunity to get through this experience that all women will eventually have to deal with.
eventually we all get there. That is correct.
Oh, and the pain, my gosh, it wasn't that long ago in history that women were institutionalized, for hysteria
There
during
you go.
menopause.
And it was hormonal.
Absolutely. Terrifying. We have got the brunt of the medical system as women, our gender. Now, Marcia, and I just could carry on this conversation. I think we'll have to do maybe a follow-up one of these days as well, so that we can do part two of this. But
Okay.
our time's gone so quickly. I normally like to end by asking, what is one of the greatest mindset shifts that you've had? And it doesn't have to be about what we're talking about, just one of those aha moments that changes something profound about how you show up.
One of the greatest mind shift things that I've had is recognizing and relating to and becoming who I am.
Yeah.
Because we, and myself included, have to understand and realize that we are the only people, we are the only person that's going to be in charge of us.
Yeah. I love that.
And especially as women.
Yes.
Especially as women, we take care of everybody else.
Yes.
We take care of the partners, the
Yeah.
husbands, the children, the bosses,
Yes.
the pastor.
Co-workers, you name it.
We take care of everybody else. But I don't even know if it's in the Bible, but somewhere it says charity begins at home. We
And as
owe
you
it to ourselves
Yes.
to start here. Because
Yes.
let's face it, if you're not around, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody
I love
else.
that. And you know what? Tied to that, it's the first time I've thought of it. As you were saying that, Dr. Harris, I just had this epiphany moment that not only do we need to take charge of our own body and recognize we need to be responsible for it because we take care of everybody else, but we've also been so deeply conditioned to believe that for us, we need to be rescued. Even as a young girl, the prince is going to come and take care of us. So I love flipping that script. That's beautiful. So where can people learn more about you? Where should
My website is www.drmarciaharris.com.
Perfect.
And I have a few freebies, quote unquote, menopause ebook, #1, and what I call my ultimate menopause survival toolkit.
Nice.
Ultimate menopause survival toolkit, which if they go to my website and just put toolkit in the contact, put their information and put toolkit, they'll get it they'll get it sent.
I love that. Thank you for that. So for our listeners, pay attention there. So it's www.Dr. Marcia Harris, and that's DR, not the full word. So drmarciaharris.com. Go into the contacts and hit toolkit to be able to get, and please, I encourage you, when somebody is offering you free resources, especially somebody with the background and qualifications and expertise that Dr. Harris is bringing to the table here today, for the love of God, take advantage of the resources that are being offered to you. And if you didn't get that down, don't panic. We'll make sure it's in the show notes. And Dr. Harris, thank you so much. I have learned so much myself, and I thought I knew a fair bit about this subject, and I am embarrassed, but grateful that I've come away much more informed than I was. So thank you.
And I want to thank you as well, not just for the invitation, but for everything that you are doing.
Thank you.
Because this is so important. And it is so necessary to get this out there that you have to continue and
thank you.
Do it.
Likewise, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And for our listeners, I have no doubt whatsoever that you got a lot of value from this episode. I know I did. Please give the gift of sharing. Share this with the other women in your life. Share this with practitioners you know. Share this with partners of the women in your life who can be in a better support role by being better informed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already as well. And before we sign off, if you are looking to up-level your negotiation skills so you can negotiate your best life from your personal to your professional, check it out if it's something interesting to you at artoffemininenegotiation.com. And make sure to grab my book of the same name if you haven't yet, Art of Feminine Negotiation, How to Get What You Want from the Boardroom to the Bedroom. And that's a wrap for this episode. So until next time, go forth and negotiate your best life on your terms so you can stop missing out and start getting more of what you want and deserve from the boardroom to the bedroom. Until next time, take care.